Trump has signed into law a new $900 billion coronavirus relief and stimulus package. Among its provisions, an extension of last spring's Paycheck Protection Program, allowing another $284 billion or so in forgivable federally backed loans for ailing small businesses. The initial program, overseen by the U.S. Government Treasury and Small Business Administration, shepherds some $255 billion to more than 5 million recipients, but was fraught with loopholes and liabilities that raised countless issues throughout an already complex process. And then at the same time, for unemployment, the COVID portion of the bill revives a weekly pandemic jobless benefit boost, this time $300 through March 14. It also extends eviction protections, adding a new rental assistance fund. Trump signing into this bill is $2,000, plus the fact that Trump signed the stimulus into law take pressure off of Republicans in both the House and the Senate to vote for the boosted checks, allowing them to stick to their guns on keeping the size of the relief package under control. The government is now funded for the next year. Crucial benefits helping Americans through the pandemic are renewed, and $600 checks will be on its way if the $2,000 checks don't pass. Thoughts?
First of all, I'm glad they closed the loopholes. I saw a thing in here that they have a loss test. So your business can't apply for scoop number 2 unless you can show that you had a greater than 25%, quarter over quarter drop as regard to the pandemic. I think that's a good thing because
I agree.
There were some businesses out there that just ran and got the money.
Yes.
We read about sports teams that ran and got the money.
Lakers got $4.5 million.
Right.
Harvard Business School Harvard got $8.5 million.
And meanwhile...
But the Lakers gave the money back, by the way.
Once the story came out.
Once the story came out.
Once the story came out. Yeah. But meanwhile, those small restaurants and dry cleaners and people that are in the neighborhood around Staples Center downtown, are having a hard time getting $5,000, and the Lakers did. But Lakers gave it back. So when the spotlight got shined, they gave it back. But I like the fact that there's more tests in now, and it appears that this is more friendly for the small business guy to get in if he really had a loss, and it looks like it's harder for the medium and large businesses just to go fill out the form and get some free capital. I like that part.
Just when you didn't think things could get any weirder, you have Donald Trump agreeing with Democrats, right? Pumping up the check value from $600 to $2,000. This whole thing has been bizarre. The Senate still has to confirm this thing, right? And they're ready to break for the new year here pretty soon. But good old Bernie Sanders, is there a bigger egomaniac on the planet right now than Bernie Sanders? I mean, this guy's ego is so far...
But he's got to be up there.
It's up there. Here's what he said today. I will shut down the Senate. I will force people to stay through. Who are you? You are one person from an irrelevant state, number one. New Hampshire, basically irrelevant. I mean, who knows anything about New Hampshire? But he's out there saying he's going to keep the Senate.
Or Vermont, which looks, but you probably got him.
From
you
Vermont?
probably got
my
him.
Bad. I used to live in New England. That's a big mistake
because all the small states look alike, right?
But I'm in favor of anything that's going to help the economy. I'm in favor of anything that's going to help small businesses. This also just shines a microscope on what's going on in D.C. This bill was 6,000 pages long. Who has a chance to actually read 6,000 pages of this legislation? All the pork that they try to jam in this thing is disgusting. But if it helps businesses, if it helps Americans, if it helps the economy, I am 100% behind it. I like the fact that Trump fought for a little bit more money because $600 really isn't that much. If you're gonna like sign off on a bill of this magnitude, have a little bit more money going to American citizens, I think is okay. And I just hope there's less fraud, because when that first bill came out, there was so much fraud, so many people taking advantage of it. I hope that they found a way to shut that down.
What is this going to do to the economy?
I'll leave it up to you to answer that one.
What is it going to do to the economy?
It's going to give people a little bit more confidence, maybe hope, maybe having a little thought that they can pay some more bills, maybe inject more money into the economy. I would imagine it will have some sort of short-term effect.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little lift going into first quarter. Absolutely. I think January we're going to see some, those little stats that come out. Oh, cost goes up a little bit. I think the average Joe that is able to get a check is going to be able to do a little bit, and I think it's going to be a little short-term pop. I think the Wall Street reaction will be greater than the real impact on the average guy.
The Wall Street tell me what you mean by that.
I think the market will be up more than the actual change and the lift and the help that we gave to the average citizen.
Got it. So the rich will get richer, then the poor will get a little richer. You're saying the rich is going to benefit from this more than the poor is?
Yeah, absolutely. Or the ownership class that's owning companies.
Can you unpack that? Why is that?
Well, because the market's going to react and the value of the assets are going to go up for the people that already own those assets and make more money and didn't need that extra $1,000 and were ineligible to it. And the little guy on the corner is going to get his $1,000 and it's going to be, thanks, that helps me a little bit. Meanwhile, he's got another $8,000 in credit card debt and everything he's gone through. That's the part that kind of fries me a little bit, is we never do enough for the citizen that's down at the end of it. And in my opinion, Paycheck Protection completely missed it. Paycheck Protection should have been, if you prove you have no layoffs and you prove what your payroll is, we'll pay X for a given amount of time. And they did that weird thing where they would give you some, and then maybe we forgive it, maybe we don't forgive it. And it just seemed like that the little guy didn't get enough. So my opinion is, did they do better this time? Yeah, but I'm not cheering about it. And I think the little guy still needs a little more help.
Who wins here, Democrats or Republicans?
Probably the Democrats will spin it in a way that they got Trump to, come over on their side a little bit more. I don't know I don't look at this and see that there's one clear winner.
Okay.
I think if you took a poll in the street, the election's over, except Georgia. But the average person on the street, I don't think is going to give a passing grade to his government on this.
Does this,
regardless of how they voted in the election?
So right now, is it fair to say that the main thing that matters right now when it comes down to politics is one state, 11 million people, right? Georgia's the number one thing that matters. Mm-hmm. Does this influence anything there? Like, is this something where Trump's going to go and say, Republicans got the deal done, this is why, and the Democrats wanted to only give $600 and send the other money to all these special interest groups in other countries, and we got it done to get the money in the American people? You think that's going to create some motivation for people to say, you know what, Republicans got this done?
This is the last weekend. You're going to see those comments and more. There's going to be all kinds of those claims. Pat, I think you're on it. You're going to see all kinds of those claims made in the last weekend. We're not going to see them in the rest of the U.S., but on TV, radio, the Georgia voter is going to get bombed by people taking credit and spinning that.
I don't think anybody's vote could be swayed by that at this point in Georgia. And I wish maybe $20 billion of this bill would go into making sure there's no fraud in the election, that there's people looking at every one of these votes, making sure that they're checking the signatures and making sure that whatever happens in Georgia on January 5th is legit.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.